Welcome back, folks. So in today's video, I am going to go over how to tie my little twist on the Clouser Minnow. So for this pattern, for this version of the Clouser Minnow that I like to tie, it's nothing crazy, not that much different, but I like to do it. I have a little twist on it that actually is working extremely well. So it comes in, I do it in a chartreuse color, just plain white, which can be very productive, and red, obviously. Black would probably be a good one, and so would olive. I don't have any black or olive currently on me, but I do have some purple. So today we're going to tie it in a purple color, but any bucktail, black, red, olive. My three favorite colors for chasing walleye and pike would be red, white, and chartreuse. As of late, anyway, it seems to be very, very productive for the waters I've been fishing. So what do you need for this? Okay, so I'm going with a mustad stainless steel 2-watt hook. I'm going to use craft fur in white. I'm going to use bucktail for the top. I'm going to use some silly legs. Depending if you can see with the red, I have like a red or a fire orange with a black kind of silly leg on there. This is the silly leg I'm using today. And with my chartreuse, I actually have like a chartreuse silly leg too. But I don't have a purple, and I want to try it in a different color because I haven't tried purple yet, and I've heard purple can work pretty good. So we're gonna give it a test. And the other one that I like to use is some flashybou, as always. A little bit of sun, give it a little flicker. Yeah, gives it a little bit of flash, something that might help the fish notice it. These add a nice little bit of vibration to it, so maybe in slightly murky water, the fish might feel that vibration. Not to mention the bucktail and the craft fur, they do get some pretty nice motion in the water. So let's get to it. I'll quickly show you. This is a very easy, very quick tie. Oh, one other thing we do need are some, if you can see this, we do need some Dumbel Eyes. Can't forget that. All right, so let's get to tying this fly. This one is nice and easy, quite gravy, and I'm doing my fly tying in a slightly different area. I'm kind of got my office kind of tore apart where I was fly tying once before. I'm doing a little bit of remodeling to my basement for my studio kind of thing for my office slash fly tying slash bunch of stuff that I kind of doing some changes up this year. But you guys will all see that, and I will talk about that all lately, which is kind of why I haven't put out too many videos. Anyway, I'm gonna get to this. We're gonna use a 6/0 1/36 denier line, white line, and we are going to start right here. Get this show on the road here. Just gonna quickly if you really wanted to, you probably could throw a bit of an underbody, but you don't really need to because the white So there's no underbody to this. It's basically 2 pieces of materials plus silly legs and the sorry, I lost the words here. The bucktail on the top, underbody is the craft fur in this case, and then silly legs for a little bit of vibration, a little bit of show, and the flashybou for some good sunlight, flicker, penetration kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to go with Dumbel Eyes. They don't need to be heavy. I think I'm using a 7/32 medium for this because we do want it to kind of go down. We kind of want to be on the bottom for walleye and pike. Not always, but generally that's where you're going to find the fish. Okay, so we want the dumbbell to be at least 2. In this case, I got a big eye on the hook. Let's see if I can show you that. I got a big eye on my hook, and I want to be at least, in this case, I want to try and make sure I'm at least 2 back so that I have a good distance for when I kind of build the front of the fly, the taper on the nose of the Clouser minnow. There we go. I want to keep this back. I don't want it to travel forward. Going like this, kind of setting it up. And now, once you kind of get it set properly, go down and around, down and around, down under the eye and around, down under the eye and around, and you're kind of tightening up the strings around this. And now, see how that's getting much better? I'm going to go across, like so, across here, crisscross, and now we're going to go down and under, keeping those nice and tight. And you should, it takes a bit to get used to, but once you get used to it, you can see that, like, that's solid. That's going absolutely nowhere. Next, we're going to add the one thing I forgot to add, you want to, so for these, you want, like, if you tie the dumbbell eye on, let me save this so I don't screw something up here. If you tie it on here, right, then it's going to ride when you're jigging it with your fly rod, it's going to ride like this. So the reason we put it on this side is so that when it's riding through the water, the dumbbell turns the fly this way and you're less likely to snag as often. Especially it being a wider gapped hook for pike and walleye, which I have caught trout on this at just the same. Especially larger size trout. All right, moving on. Okay, so first off, this is technically right now, this is going to be the bottom of the fly. And we want to tie the white on here. Okay, so we're going to do white craft fur in this case. You could use bucktail, it's the same, but I actually really like the flow of craft fur. It's very nice. So what are we going to do? We're basically just going to, we want something decent in length. It's just going to roughly be about a 2 to 3 inch fly at the end of the day. And we're just going to go in, I'm going to pick some out here, just like this. Kind of gripping it. We don't need too much. Roughly, there we go. Honestly, that is probably more than enough right there. We don't need much more than that. So we're gonna put it down. We're gonna go right to the very bottom of the mat, our mat here. Cut it off. You might cut off a little too much. It's not a big deal. Throw that to the side. Take it. Pull out all the crap. The stuff you really don't want in there. It kind of makes this super fluffy. Just gonna pull this out. There you go, see, it's nice. Now it's a little more pinchable, and we can tie that in nicely. So we're going to take it, pinch it, just basically you want to see how I got it to the edge. We're going to the edge, I'm not going past the eye of my hook, and then I'm going to try and get it, pinch it down like so. There we go. And then just try and get it so that you get as much of that as possible. If you want, you can cross a little bit. Doesn't hurt. I will sometimes. Really helps. See, now you have like a little bit of a taper here. And we're just going to, you don't want to tie too much, too many wraps, so kind of ruin the look of the fly, make it a little disproportionate, not look as good. Okay, so that's the bottom. Next, we're going to come here, just save it real quick. Now we're going to do this side. This is the bottom. Technically the top of the fly. So with bucktail, depending on what you want it to do, so the bottom, so on your bucktail, the top is going to sink more and the bottom is going to have like it's going to be a little, the end of the fibers are going to be a little bit more hollow, which means they're going to float better. So if you want it to float more, then you grab from the bottom. If you want it to sink more, I would grab it from the top. And not to mention well, actually these are all fairly decent in length, but depending on which way you want. So for instance, when I'm fishing for walleye and pike, for walleye actually in particular, these are mostly specifically targeting walleye with. When I'm using a full sink line, I'm using a mono. There's pike usually in the area, so I do sometimes have a wire leader, but if I'm not using a wire leader, I'll be using a mono line, and I will use the bottom so that that fly doesn't sink as fast because it is weighted. So it won't sink as fast. It slows the sinking down, and you can jig it and get that slightly more suspended action with the fish or with the jigging. And I have found when you're looking for that slow presentation, if it's a little bit colder water, the fish aren't biting so much, it seems to get them to bite a little bit better with the slower presentation. Sometimes the quick works, but you have to vary it. So, quick tip, just something I've noticed this year from fishing walleye and pike on the fly more aggressively than I did last year. So I want to go from the bottom because I want it to slightly float a little bit more. So I'm going to go from the bottom. If you want to go from the top, maybe you disagree with me. I don't know. I'm just going with what I've been knowing that has been working for me. So let's get to the bucktail. Okay, so I'm going to pick from here. Once again, you don't need a lot, about the same proportion as I used for the craft fur. So I'm just gonna go here. I think, yeah, that's pretty good. Might be a little bit much, but yeah, let's go like that, right there. We're gonna once again go down to the very bottom, cut it off. Bada boom, bada bing. Some people would line the tips up. I guess you could if you really wanted to, but I'm not doing that because I haven't found that it has helped in any. I just want the tips to be in line with those. So I'm just gonna move this up a little bit more, just so it's a little bit easier to tie. Now, we don't, once again, we don't want to go past that. We don't want these fibers to go past here. So I'm going to kind of split. I want the fibers to split the hook. Actually, we're going to put the fibers kind of between the hook here, and we're not going to go past that eye. I don't want to screw up the look of the head of this Clouser minnow. So hold on, let me get this up. There we go. Going like so. Keep it pinched. You want it to stay there, just like so. Wrapping it, and there we go. Now we have that. There you go. And actually, yeah, that's looking really nice. Now you can take it if you want and kind of like have it so that you push it, the fibers down between the hook, so it's not to one side of the hook. That way when it flows, it will flow nicely between the hook. That's why you want to keep that nice and centered properly. And here we are. Go like this. Snip off some of those excess pieces. Be careful not to I'm no pro here, but there we go. I just trying to get it to look, I want it to look pretty. All right, here we go. Oops, what are you doing? Oh, got the fiber here. Here we go. There. Okay. So now we have that. The tips of the feathers, or of the bucktail and the craft fur, are lining up quite nicely. And okay, so next we're gonna grab our flashybou. We're gonna cut off like 3 or 4 pieces. Don't need much, just a little something something. Okay, I got 3 here. Should be plenty. Cut that off. Go to the side here. Okay, now take it in the middle. I'm going to grab with 2 different fingers, kind of like so, like that. And now we're going to take it, I'm going to place it where I want it to go. Try not to let these go. They might go all wild on you if you don't. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to tie it right here, pulling back. My breath is pulling back in the direction I want it to go in. Tying like so, just to get it to go. And then we're going to go around the eyes like so. Same thing here. Taking it, pull back, and it holds it back where you want. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Try not to grab your craft fur or your bucktail. And there you go. Now it's down right by the white, right where we want it to be. And then we can do that there. I'm going to come up here real quick because we don't want to add too much bulk to this eye, or the front of our hook, or the front, the nose. We're going to grab our silly legs and the last little section here. to snip, snip. I'm just doing two silly legs. And we're going to, once again, placing where we want it. And in this case, I'm going to go one above the eye, one below it, like so. I'm going to do this again, tying across. We're going to take this one, well, we got it across because we want to crisscross over, and we're going to do the same thing in this one. We're going to go boom, and there we go. That should hold it all in above and below the eye. And there we go. That's it. Now you could, I guess if you wanted to dress that up, you could, but I'm just gonna throw some, so you can see now. Oh, that one didn't work so well. But if you look on this side, I did it right, and you can see there's silhouette below it and above it, and it looks quite pretty. All right, we got that. Now we're just going to whip finish. Five should be plenty. One, whoops, whoopsie. Just gonna whip finish. Oh, that's why. I'm going the wrong opposite way. That won't help either. So there we go, I just save it. Now I can whip finish it properly because I can go the direction I want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Didn't even need to cut it off. Now, just to added security, remember we're going after toothy critters with this thing. We're just gonna take a little bit of thin hard solo res. Thin and hard. Yeah. I'm just gonna add something, little some here. I'll go crazy with it. Can also use it to help kind of build the look of the eye. What is it doing? There we go. Like so. And Shazam. And there you go. Eye is not crowded. Oops, look at that. Snip. You can snip any of the excess stuff that you don't want in there out. And there you go, guys. The Clouser Minnow. My twist. I haven't seen anyone do this, so I'm gonna say it's my twist. It might not be, I'm sure some people have done it. I'm just gonna, you can snip these off a little bit if they're too long. Okay guys, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and let me know. The Clouser Minnow is a very good fly or good streamer pattern that is very effective in many different species. Sometimes you tie them in a smaller hook, and sometimes, like if you tied it in, for example, maybe 6, like a 4-aught, you'll get pike and stuff like that on it, or you could get walleye, no problem. You may lose some sometimes, but if you fish it in, like say, the North Saskatchewan, it can be a great pattern for chasing goldeye too, and mooneye. So trout will hit this fly depending on the colors that you're using. It's a very, very versatile pattern, probably a very good staple to have in your box at any time. You never know when you might need it. Sometimes if you go in bigger streamers and you're not getting hits, you could drop down a size with same color as some bigger streamer patterns that I showed you on the last one, and it might be the difference. Downsize, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes they're just not biting. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next episode, and the next video is an actual fishing video. Sorry, it's been a bit. I've been working on a ton of stuff, and on the next video, I will be doing a giveaway. So stay tuned. It should be interesting. I am very excited to share some stuff with you guys. Ciao. Catch you guys later.